Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at a bunch of newer Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Look at this new Blue Eyes. We got a new Dark Magician card. It's got quality artwork on that card and a bunch of new Yu-Gi-Oh cards, as well as new Synchro support coming out into the game. If you're excited about that, because I definitely am, drop a like on this video. These are all coming, by the way, mostly from the new V-Jump. So they did like this big giant event where they showed off a bunch of new Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and it actually covers the new Cross Duel Yu-Gi-Oh game. However, I'm not going to be covering the Cross Duel in this video. If you guys haven't seen the last video, I'll also try to pin it down below. Check out this video. It explains how to play this new Yu-Gi-Oh game because it's completely different. I'm not going to be covering it, like I said, in this video. Check the video if this is something you're interested in because it is a really big event that you definitely want to be able to check out. So anyways, let's go ahead and check out the new Yu-Gi-Oh cards because that's the point of this video from the Jump Fiesta. So let's kick it off with one of the newer cards called Psychic and Punisher. So here is the artwork on this card. It's got 3,500 attack and defense. But this looks like a super boss monster. What the heck? It's level 11, like Psychic Synchro effect monsters. Materials are 1 tuner plus 1+ non-tuner monsters. And it says, while your opponent's life points are equal to or less than your opponent's Synchro summon, this Synchro summon card is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. Okay. Second part is, once per turn, you get to pay 1,000 life points and target one monster you control, one card your opponent controls, and banish those targets. If only this was like a quick effect, then that'd be like, all right, that's pretty cool. But it is like immune to things. Okay. Third part of the effect is, at the start of the battle phase, you can make this card gain attack equal to the difference between both players' life points. Okay, so there could be some potential, like, you know, comeback wins. I like it. It's kind of cool. Is it going to really affecting the metagame? Maybe, like, sometimes you can OTK your opponent with this card. But this card effect, if this was only a quick effect, then we'd be looking at something much better, because that's what we need in modern Yu-Gi-Oh to become, you know, viable. Next up, though, we got a lot of other support for the Predaplant. So this is new Yuri support. Oh, that's some cool artwork over there. So let's check out the new Predaplants. It's cool to see that they're finally getting some support, right? Anyways, the first card that we're going to be taking a look at is actually called the Predaplant Tritanas. Looks like it's a praying mantis. So 2,400 attack, 1,000 defense. These are also coming out in Dimension Fusion. Its scales are going to be 8. And so it is a pendulum monster, and its pendulum effect is you can use cards in your pendulum zone as material to fusion summon a dark fusion monster as if they were monsters on the field. That's a pretty cool effect. Monster effect is, if this card is used as material for a fusion summon and sent to the graveyard or added to the extra deck face up, you can place one predator count on a number of monsters on the field up to the number of monsters you currently control. If you do, any of those monsters that are level 2 or higher become level 1, as long as they have a predator counter. That's obviously really good. You can actually negate your opponent's effects with predator counters with other cards. Next up, we have the Predaplant Biblisp. So here's the artwork on this card. 0 attack, 1,900 defense point. It is also going to be at level 1. So you can only use the first and second effects of this card to name each once per turn. The first part of the effect is, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add a Predaplant monster from your deck to your hand, except for Predaplant Blisp. If there is a monster with Predator counter on the field, you can spell summon this card from your graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. If only it was a tuner or two, that would be really cool. Next up, though, we have the Predaplant Bufoliuka. Here is the artwork. Called Predaplant Frog. Oh, it's supposed to be, is that supposed to be like a Venus flytrap and a frog and combined? I think that's what it is. Anyways, pendulum scale of 0, level 1, 0, 0 for the attack and defense. And its pendulum effect is during, or you can only use the pendulum effect of this card's name once per turn. During your main phase, you can fusion summon one dark fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. The monster effect is, you can only use the monster effect of this card's name once per turn. The first part of it is, if this card is used as material for a fusion summon and sent to the graveyard or added to the extra deck face up, you can add one face up dark pendulum monster from your extra deck to the hand, except for Predaplant Frogman. Okay. Anyways, next up we have the Predaplant Ambulo Meloides. Here's the artwork on this. This card looks freaking awesome. It's like an alligator, like it almost reminds me kind of like what's that, Bulbasaur? So this is level 5 dark, 1,000 attack, 2,500 defense points. And its materials are 2 Predaplant monsters. And it says you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. The first part of the effect is, if this card is fusion summoned, you get to add one Predaplant monster or one Predap spell/trap from your deck or deck, graveyard, or face up extra deck to your hand. Okay. That could be pretty good. Yeah, being able to search out any Predaplant monster is actually pretty big. Consider, like, you know, there's that one card that lets you go and add the fusion. That's pretty good. Second part of the effect is, you can target one opponent's monster with a predator counter or one monster you control, tribute it, and if you do, spell summon one Predaplant monster from your deck. Okay, that's pretty cool. Next up, they've got another fusion monster called the Starving Venom Predator Fusion Dragon. Okay, because last one, didn't that one of them got hit by the list. So this one, oh, this is our super boss monster, 3,600 attack. And 2,500 defense points, and its materials are going to be 1 Dark Fusion Monster, 1 Fusion Monster, and it's always treated as a Predaplant card. So maybe potentially you could super poly with it. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. The first part of it is once per turn. When a card or effect is activated as a quick effect, you can tribute 1 monster with a Predator counter from either field if you need to negate that activation. Okay, you got a pretty cool effect already. Second part is if this fusion summon card is sent to the graveyard by your opponent, you can target 1 Dark Monster in your graveyard and special summon. Alright, overall, really good effects for that boss monster over there. Next up, this is going to be called Beyond the Pendulum. So here is the artwork on this card. Definitely looks pretty cool. Someone was saying, you know, when I was talking to someone about it, I believe this is supposed to be like a Metal Foes replacement, is what I heard. All right, Beyond the Pendulum, Dark Spellcaster Link effect. Link zones are going to be in the bottom left, bottom right. It's got 1,200 attack. 2 effect monsters, including a Pendulum monster. It says you can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. The first part of the effect is if this card is link summoned and to the extra monster zone, you can pay 1,200 life points to add 1 pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. After adding it to your hand until the end of this turn, you cannot activate monster effects. Also, the effects of your cards in your pendulum zone are negated until you pendulum summon. Is that really that much of a downside? I mean, like, obviously you just have to go for the pendulum summon then. Yeah, and then you're good to go. It's not that bad of like a downside. And then the second part is if 2 monsters with different original names are pendulum summoned at the same time to zones this card points to, you can target 2 cards on the field and destroy them. Wow, that's pretty good. I mean, the 1,200 to add 1 is obviously really good. And then after adding it to your hand, you have to pendulum summon immediately right there. And I don't really feel like that's that bad of a downside. I think the card is good. Like, it definitely is a really good card for sure. Next up, these are going to be the Grand Creator Support. Are we finally getting that Insector card that we've been waiting forever for? Anyways, let's check out this Illegal Knight. Okay, that's what the name of this card is. It's 2,000. It's going to be a Dark Fiend, level 7. It says you can only use the first and second effects of this card's name each once per turn. The first part of the effect is during the main phase, if you control no monsters or you control 1 Adventurer token as a quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. Second part of the effect is if you control Adventurer token as a quick effect, you can target up to 2 cards your opponent controls. Give control of this card to your opponent. If you do, return those targets to the hand. Okay, that's pretty interesting effect. It just depends on the Adventurer token because obviously you don't want to tribute. Let's see if they have any Adventurer token support. Next up, we have the Exo Sisters Magnifica. Here is the artwork on this card. 2,800 defense and attack. And it's going to be a rank 8 that requires 2 rank 4 Exo Sister monsters, and it must be exceed someone with the above exceeds materials. Okay, so the first part of it can make a second attack during each battle phase. The second effect is once per turn as a quick effect, you can attach 1 material from this card to banish 1 card your opponent controls. Not bad. And then the third effect is when your opponent activates a card or effect as a quick effect, you can return 1 exceeds monster attached to this card as material to the extract. Then you can special summon that monster using this card you control as material. This is treated as an exceed summon. Transfer this card's material to this monster. Okay, pretty decent card. Next up, we have some punk support. Okay, this is kind of cool because I think the artwork on these, what were they originally called? Cyberpunks. In the past, I think that's what they're called. But anyways, this is No Punk Dia Note, which is a Earth Warrior effect, level 5, 2,100 attack, 1,800 defense points, and it says you can only use the first and second effects of this card's name each once per turn. The first part of the effect is you can reveal 1 other punk monster in your hand to special summon this card. Or the revealed card. If you do, send the other to the graveyard. The second part of it says if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target a punk monster in your graveyard except a level 5 monster, special summon it, but you cannot special summon No Punk Dia Note for the rest of this turn. Okay. Next up, we got a Bach Premier Promo. So this is the promo card for Bach. So it's a psychic effect called the Libromancer Geek Boy. I wish they didn't put the sample over the artwork. All right. Anyways, it says you can reveal a ritual monster in your hand to special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned, you get to add 1 Libromancer spell from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of Libromancer Geek Boy once per turn. Okay, I don't know. Is this like a new archetype coming out? I don't know. Sometimes they change the names and I'm like, what, is this a new archetype, new support? I don't know. And then like it's because it goes to another archetype that we've already seen. Now, next up, we're going to be looking at Blast from the Past. They mentioned they're going to be supporting a bunch of like legacy and older Yu-Gi-Oh cards. This is the support. So let's check this out. Getting started, we got the Duel Tower of Alcatraz over here, and it is a field spell, and it says, at the start of the battle phase, to activate this effect, each player can reveal one monster from their deck, except for a monster with question mark attack. And if they do, banish those monsters face down. The player that revealed the monster with the highest attack can special summon one monster from their hand. If they do, it can attack directly. Okay. Reveal any monster with a question attack. Banish it. The one with the highest attack special summons it. I mean, this is crazy. This is actually insane. It's at the start of the battle phase. It is a field spell. Like, there's got to be some way to, like, troll. Because you can just go to your battle phase and special summon anything and just one-shot your opponent. What is the highest monster's attack in the game that you can special summon? Obviously, this is going to be a video that we will 100% make. Yeah, this seems OP. Like, you can even mix it in with, like, other, like, cards. Like, there's definitely going to be... Oh, this could be really interesting, especially, like, if you summon Calculator and then you special summon a big monster with a bunch of stats and then you attack directly with that monster and then Calculator OTKs them. Yeah, there could be... Wow, yeah, okay, my brain is going here. There's potential with this card. We're not even done with the effect, though. It's got two effects. Once per turn during the end phase, you can activate this effect. If the card still on the field is during the end phase, destroy all cards. Wait, what? Once per turn during the end phase, you can activate this effect. If this card is still on the field during the end phase of your next turn... Oh, okay, whatever. I think this card is really insane. Like I said, you just normal summon Calculator, bring out some monster with an absurd attack, and then as long as it's able to attack directly, then Calculator just make a game. Next up, though, we have Duel Academy field spell card that says this card gains the effects based on the types of monsters on the field. If it's Warrior, Beast, Pyro, once per turn, if you activate a trap card, you target one card your opponent controls and destroy. That could be actually really good. There's so many cards that you can flip-flop now. That's got some potential. Dinosaur, Sea Serpent, Thunder. Once per turn, when you activate a spell card, you get to burn your opponent for 1,000. Okay. It's only once per turn. Yeah. The Machine, Fairy, Fiend. Once per turn, if you activate a monster effect, you can target one face-up monster you control, and it gains 1,000. They're all once per turn. Maybe this one could have the most potential, but I just think that overall, it's kind of meh. The other card was way cooler. Okay. This is what I'm really hoping for. This is a Synchro support. Continuous spell card. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. When this card resolves, if you control no other cards, you get to add one Synchron monster from your deck to your hand. That's an amazing effect. Second part of it says, once per turn during your standby phase, place one signal counter on this card. Third part of the effect is you remove two signal counters from your field and send this face-up card to the graveyard and draw two cards, then send one card from your hand to the graveyard. I mean, the downside of it doesn't really exist. The biggest downside is you have to wait two standby phases. If you're playing a Synchro deck, yeah, this card will definitely see play because it literally just searches out your combos for junk converters and stuff. It's going to be definitely awesome, but like realistically, a Synchro deck will not last that turn. The Synchro decks that like pop off, it's either I OTK you and set up a board, or you Ash Blossom or Valor me, and I'm like, okay, well GG's, because that's kind of how Synchro decks play these days. Next up, though, we have Overlay Network. So here's the artwork on this. It's another continuous spell card that says you only use the first and second of just the first effect of this card's name per turn. First part of it is during your phase, you can activate one of these effects. Target one face-up monster you control that has a level to special summon one monster with the same level from your hand or graveyard in defense position, but its effects are negated, but you cannot special summon monsters from the extract for the rest of the turn except for Exceeds monsters. The second part of it says target one Exceed monster you control that add one card attached to it to that owner's hand. Okay. That could be very, very interesting to add whatever you attach, because there's got to be some other ways where you can attach from the deck or something that could have some potential. I was thinking possibly, what is it, the Time Thief. Unfortunately, it's the owner's hand, not just to your hand, because then it would be really cool. This has got some interesting potential. Next up, we have the Battle Royale. Okay, so we have a Battle Royale card. Battle Royale Joining. Okay, I like how that card is just completely English for the text. Continuous spell card that says, activate this card by targeting one effect monster on the field. First part of it says, the first two times that target would be destroyed by battle, each turn it's not destroyed. When that target is destroyed by battle, the player that destroyed it gains 2,000 life points. The second part is, if the turn player opponent takes battle or effect damage, they can apply this effect. Special one level 4 lower monster from your hand or deck, and if you do, lose 2,000 life points. That effect is actually pretty cool. The turn player, I don't know, you'd have to like wait It's interesting though. Next up though, we have Into the V-Rains. Here's the artwork on this card. Is a normal spell card that says you only activate one card with this card's name per turn. First part of it is supposed to summon one monster from your hand, but its effects are negated. Then immediately after this effect resolves, link summon using that monster you control. This link summon cannot be negated. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when a monster is link summoned this way. Okay. Second part is if a link monster or monster you control is destroyed by battle or a card effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card, add one monster with the same original type as that monster from your graveyard turn. Okay, I thought the effect was going to be protecting the card when it's like if it's going to be destroyed by battle by card effect, banish it and it keeps it. I'm like, oh, that card's effect is amazing. I mean, you're special summoning it from its hand, its effects are negated. I mean, this is like if it didn't have this, then it would be like really good. I mean, like, the fact that it cannot be negated could be interesting because, like, certain cards will get their effects as soon as they get summoned. Maybe if it, like, until the end phase, it was protected too, it'd be a little bit better. Or if it was just, like, banished to protect it, it would be really good as well. Next up, this is from the HC01. We're getting new Blue Eyes, Red Eyes, Black Dragon, and Dark Magician Girl artwork. When are we getting this in TCG? I don't know, but I hope we get the Dark Magician Girl with the giant personalities because we definitely need more of those artworks. I think the Blue Eyes looks pretty cool too. I always love when we get new variants of these artworks because they're just classic Yu-Gi-Oh cards. But that's going to go ahead and wrap it up. Let me know your thoughts down below on any of the new Yu-Gi-Oh cards. But thanks for tuning in. And if you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new here, hit subscribe, turn on the bell if you want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh videos. And I'm out. Peace.